Jake Turner woke before sunrise, just as he did every day on his small ranch. A soft golden glow stretched across the fields outside his window, and while he dressed, his mind wandered to the horse he hoped to buy. His old mare, Daisy, was aging, gentle as ever but slowing with each season. A man from the far end of the county had called the night before, offering a strong gelding for sale. Jake didn't ask many questions. He rarely did. He simply agreed to come by in the morning. The dirt road leading to the property felt ordinary enough. Trees leaned lazily toward the path, fence posts sagged from years of weather, and the cool morning breeze drifted through Jake's open window. He hummed softly, thinking only about the new horse he wanted, imagining long rides across the hills and training it to work beside him. When he reached the property, a strange quiet settled over him. The house looked worn but lived in. The barn stood a short distance away, its wooden boards faded and sun-beaten. Jake stepped out and knocked on the front door. No answer. He waited, knocked again. "Anyone home?" he called politely. Still nothing. He sighed and headed across the yard, boots brushing through tall grass. Maybe the man was in the barn. That wouldn't be unusual. The barn door was slightly open, a few rays of light slipping through. Jake pushed it wider. The familiar scent of hay, soil, and old wood filled his nose, warm, familiar, comforting. Dust twisted gently in the beams of sunlight. Inside, everything appeared normal at first, tools on the walls, neat stacks of hay, a couple of empty stalls. But no horse. Jake stepped deeper into the barn. "Hello. I'm here about the horse," he called out. Silence. He turned to leave, but then a faint sound reached him. So small he almost thought he imagined it. Not wind. Not an animal. A breath. A whisper. Human. Jake's chest tightened. He followed the sound to a dim corner. As his eyes adjusted, he froze. A woman sat on the ground, her back against the wall, knees slightly drawn in. Her clothes were torn, her face pale and frightened, her hair tangled and messy. She looked too weak to move, her hands trembling in her lap. She raised her head just enough to meet his eyes, wide, terrified. Jake's heart dropped. "Hey, hey," he whispered gently. "It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." She tried to speak, but her voice was barely a breath. When Jake stepped closer, he noticed a rusted metal chain fastened around her ankle, bolted to the wall. The sight made his stomach twist. He crouched slowly. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" She nodded weakly. "I'm going to help you. I promise." He looked around, suddenly alert. Whoever had done this might still be nearby. A chill crawled up his spine. "Where's the man who lives here?" he asked softly. Her cracked voice released one word, "Gone." Jake didn't know what "gone" meant, gone for good or gone temporarily. But either way, time mattered. The chain was rusted but thick. He tugged at it. It didn't budge. "I'm going to get something from my truck," he told her. "I'll be right back." She blinked slowly, trying to trust him. Jake hurried out, scanning the empty yard before grabbing his toolbox. His hands shook, not from fear for himself, but for the woman chained inside the barn. When he returned, she looked at him with a flicker of relief. He set the tools down quietly and examined the chain again. The bolt cutter strained, the metal resisting until finally, snap. The chain broke. The woman let out a trembling breath. Jake slipped his jacket around her shoulders. "Can you stand?" She tried but couldn't. Her legs buckled. Jake caught her gently, lifting her with one arm, guiding her step by step toward the barn door. Her body trembled, not from fear anymore, but weakness. The sunlight outside felt warm and hopeful as they approached his truck. "You're safe now," he assured her softly. She whispered her name, barely audible. Emily. Emily, he repeated, steady and warm. I'm taking you somewhere safe. He helped her into the passenger seat, then drove away, watching the road behind them far more than usual. Emily sat quietly, wrapped in his jacket, her eyes heavy but calmer. Jake didn't push her with questions. She needed rest. Do you want some water? He asked after a few minutes. She nodded. Her hands shook when she tried to drink, so he helped her. She breathed out gently, as though that small comfort meant everything. As the road stretched on, a truck appeared behind them, moving fast, kicking up dust. Emily stiffened. Jake noticed instantly. That's him, she whispered. Jake didn't panic. He kept his voice steady. I won't let anything happen to you. The truck sped up, then slowed, then abruptly turned onto another road and disappeared behind the trees. Emily exhaled shakily. Jake reached over and pulled his jacket tighter around her shoulders. You're safe with me, he repeated. At the small clinic, Jake guided Emily inside. Nurses rushed to her immediately. They led her to an exam room and told Jake to wait. Emily's anxious eyes followed him until he said, I'm right outside. I won't go anywhere. Minutes crawled by. Jake paced, worry tightening his chest. Finally, a nurse emerged. She's stable, she said. Just weak, dehydrated, and exhausted. She asked if you could stay. Jake stepped inside. Emily sat on the bed, wrapped in a blanket, her cheeks showing a faint return of color. Her eyes softened when she saw him. You came, she whispered. I told you I would, he said gently. She took his presence in as if it were a lifeline. Thank you, she whispered. For helping me. Anyone would have helped, Jake said quietly. No, she replied, shaking her head. Not everyone. A nurse brought her warm food. Emily ate slowly, small bites, as if she wasn't used to regular meals. Jake stayed close, giving her space yet letting her know she wasn't alone. When Sheriff Harris arrived, he spoke gently, asking Jake to explain everything. Jake did, step by step, calm and clear. The sheriff didn't pressure Emily. He only said, You're safe now. Take your time. After he left, Emily whispered, I don't know where to go. You don't need to decide anything today, Jake said softly. One step at a time. For the first time, she looked like she believed she might have a future. The clinic kept her overnight. As Jake prepared to leave, Emily reached out and touched his sleeve faintly. Will you come tomorrow? Jake met her eyes. Of course. You're not alone. The next morning, before sunrise, Jake drove back. The nurse told him Emily had already asked about him. He knocked gently on her door. Come in, she said. Emily sat upright, hair brushed, skin warmer, wrapped in a fresh blanket. She gave him a soft, relieved smile. You came back, she said. I told you I would, he repeated. She lowered her gaze. I don't remember the last time someone stayed. Jake didn't interrupt. She needed to speak. I trusted someone I shouldn't have, she whispered. I kept hoping things would get better. I kept trying to stay calm, stay quiet, not argue. But it only got worse. And I lost myself. Bit by bit. Jake swallowed, his voice steady and warm. What you went through doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave for surviving. Emily looked up, tears touching her eyes. I don't feel brave. Strength isn't always loud, he said softly. Sometimes it's just holding on until help arrives. And you held on. A small, fragile smile touched her lips. Later, the sheriff returned to take a gentle statement. Emily spoke in small pieces, stopping when she needed to. When she finished, she looked exhausted but lighter. It feels strange to finally say some of it, she murmured. You weren't alone this time, Jake reminded her. She looked at him, emotion trembling in her gaze. When I heard footsteps in the barn, she whispered, I thought it was him. But then you spoke, and you saved me. Jake's eyes softened. I was meant to find you, Emily. For the first time, she believed him. And for the first time in a long while, she felt safe.